Hello and welcome to the 101st episode of the Gochuucast, Gochuucast 2, if you will. We've
Gochuucast 2.
we
We
It's
have
survived.
we survived episode 100. The end of the podcast did not happen as close as it was, and so we're here to suffer another week.
I'm stuck with these goobers.
I'm
Yep.
stuck talking about anime.
and now we can look towards the 2 year. Gonna be a long time.
Yeah, gonna be a real long
Before the
time.
2 year anniversary.
Certainly not 3 episodes later.
104. Yep.
I sure do love big number mile. Well, I mean, I guess big number milestones right next to each other. 2 years, dude. Fuck, hell, man. I mean, I'm sure we'll be saying that a lot when we actually get to the 2 year anniversary, but like,
Yeah.
it's just a
Gone by so
insane.
fast.
Yeah, it feels like
It's
just
also
yesterday
like
we
one of those
recorded in the first
things.
year.
It's also one of those things where it's like, how long did we really expect to be doing this when we first started? You know,
I don't know, but it's been fun. So
I don't have an answer to that. It's
Yeah,
realistically, it's one of those thoughts where it's like, did I expect to still be doing this 2 years later? I don't know.
we just did it. But yeah,
yeah. It's like every time I upload the Gochuucast, I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm like neglecting my main channel so heavily right now. It's just like I want to finish the Medica script, and then I look at it, and I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, like it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, and it's gonna be a lot to edit too.
yeah,
I feel like once I get that uploaded, though, the ball will get rolling again. But I'll get to that when I get to it.
sounds good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've got a couple things this week that I did, but I don't know about you guys.
I mean, we haven't really had a chance to talk about the new season,
Exactly.
so that's something. I think I can only remember talking about one thing, and that was the One Room Angel thing show,
Oh yeah.
which
I don't remember. I think I briefly might have talked about Yozakura family, but I don't remember for sure.
I don't think it was out when we. It definitely wasn't out
Well,
actually.
I meant last week. I might have just like
Last week you're
briefly.
like, oh yeah, I started like reading something, and that was about all.
Ah, so yes, but I didn't reveal it. So I started reading the manga for Yozakura family.
Hmm.
That was what it was, and it's pretty good. Episode 1 just like hit a like the mood that I had that day. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna read this, and I read like 100 chapters.
How many chapters are there in total so far? Or
Just a little over 200.
okay, so
I'm like
almost
about
halfway.
halfway. Yeah, exactly. I'm like about halfway through
Pretty
the
fast.
material. I mean, it's ongoing, so
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes a binge hits like that.
yeah. That makes sense.
I've liked the anime so far.
I haven't watched episode 2 yet, but
Yeah, I don't have any like.
obviously I had to have liked episode 1 to have went and read 100 more chapters.
Scratch
Yeah,
the
most of
itch.
episode one said I can't wait that long. I gotta see everything. Or I gotta read everything.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
I did
Sometimes
like
you're
episode
like,
one.
I'm
Yeah.
just in the mood for more of this story.
Mhm.
Feels like something I'll read eventually, but I have other things. I always say I have higher priorities, and I like never read those either. And so it's just like an ever-growing list of things that I should be reading, but I don't. Like Undead Unluck, Free Run, and whole shebang. But I have like what we've gotten from Yosakura so far, which apparently there's contention to the way I pronounce it versus what other people.
I
Yozakura.
I'm just gonna say I'm right and move on with my life.
when Mars said that, he'll give us the definitive answer after this episode. But when he said that, I didn't understand what he was saying in terms of like.
I knew what he was saying, but then like whenever I would say that I knew what he was saying, he's saying I was wrong about like what he was saying, and then now I don't. I don't know, but
That's what I'm saying. Because like you said Yozakura,
yeah,
and I said Yozakura, which I don't know, probably both wrong.
Facts.
But,
We need
like,
to get an actual
he was-
Japanese person.
He was trying to explain it by putting like emphases in places, even though that they weren't like emphasis, right?
yeah,
Because that's
like
not really how it should work. But
yeah,
he was like
Japan
trying.
does not work with emphasis. Yeah,
He was trying to like write it in a way where we understood where like the pronunciations were, and it just didn't make any sense.
So
But
phonetically, I feel like so it'd be yo. Obviously, like we just go fucking syllable by syllable. It'd be yo. I'm pretty sure it's za,
Yeah.
ku, ra, and then like if you're saying it like all together, yozakura, and that's how they say it in the fucking anime too. So you know what? I'm right.
that is probably true.
It's not important at all, but
And then it's like I don't think I say it that much differently, but I definitely do. So it's like
it's
We need an
inconsequential
actual
in the end.
Japanese person,
But
bro. That's the only way you can know 100% sure. We gotta get an actual Japanese person.
I'm mostly
That's
just continuing to stir the pot.
yeah. Anyway, not important. But yeah, we're 2 episodes in now. I think did I watch episode 2 earlier today? I think I did, but I've liked it so far. Uh, Technically today, 21 hours ago, close enough. Yeah, it's just like a nice, entertaining,
It's a
and it
battle
knows what it
shonen.
is. Yeah, I mean,
Like,
there's not really too
yeah,
many
it
battles
just
yet, but I'm sure there will be at some point.
well, yeah, but it does like shonen stuff. I mean, it's the same. The manga is really good, but it's battle shonen manga. It just like scratches that itch.
It's gonna be running for 27 episodes, which is pretty like goofy, like amount. You're normally
Yeah, it's
obviously
a
the
weird
24,
amount.
25, but
I'm not entirely sure where that ends. Because I really didn't think about it
I
for
mean,
any
I'm
reason
I'm
when I
down
was
for it.
doing it.
It's better than like Undead Unluck being like, all right, we have 24 episodes. This is we're going a little too quick here, so let's just slow it down by flashbacking like a motherfucker at every possible step, as anime does, but like to a greater extent. And the pacing was really bad because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Yozakura Family and Undead Unluck are kind of like one and the same in a sense. Like they're Shonen Jump manga that like aren't hyper popular, but like they limp by and like don't get axed, and they just keep going.
They
Eh,
also, well, yeah, it's also like they have really
like strong
dedicated
fan
fan
base, but not a
bases.
big fan
Yeah,
base.
exactly. Like both of them have that like presence of a series that I'm not surprised hasn't been axed, but they're also not like My Hero Academia popular or anything like that, obviously.
Yeah,
Didn't we look at that? What was that? It was a while back, but it was like the Shonen Jump ranking or whatever. Like, you remember that? Like,
Yes.
yeah. I don't.
it ranked everything from like 1 to 20 or yeah.
Yeah, like where they put the manga, like in the table of contents for the magazine. It's like
Oh,
generally,
right. Yeah.
as long
Yeah.
as it's not like a special week for the thing or not, it's basically
Yeah.
like the rankings of how popular they are for
Right.
the
Yeah.
most
I don't
part.
remember
And
there's a website that tracked it weekly or something like that.
I think both of them did pretty well on that,
Yeah, I think they're like
like
generally
relatively, if
made
I
of
remember
like the
right.
pack, like
That was like high mid.
consistently. Yeah, I'm too lazy to go back and find that
Yeah.
because we have too many things in here. But I say that as I'm scrolling up
We
aimlessly.
do
But
I was gonna say we
Yeah. I
do be
remember
having
it. Yeah. It was like
I mean, I know it's
track.
in here. I don't know how far
Yeah.
back it is. But yeah, I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes so far. It's got a pretty strong voice cast as well, which
yeah,
is nice.
it's got great voice cast. Now you got me scrolling just for funsies. I did also. I think the other thing that we previously mentioned a little bit, but didn't really talk about, was the train to the end of the world.
I talked about the fact that like I didn't see it exist. Fuck, did I call it a? I don't remember if I talked about how big of an acid trip the first episode. I mean, I think I did because then you
I
went and
think you
watched it
did,
later.
but yeah, you did, but neither of us had watched it at that moment in time.
Now
But I now
you've
have
watched it at
watched
least a
it.
couple. Have you watched episode 3 or no?
No, just episodes 1 and 2.
Okay, episode 3 is really good. I mean, I like the first 2 episodes as well, but episode 3 is really good.
Good to know. I've been it's been a week, so I have not watched much of anything this week.
Watched started a couple of seasonals. But I think I'm an episode behind, or like I had one episode, I think each. Yeah. So like, well, I've watched episode 1 of that jellyfish anime. That was like a few days ago.
Yeah,
Um,
I
it
still need
was
to watch that.
yeah, I watched
it's
the
like
first 2.
yeah, I don't know what to think of it yet, but I like the art. It's
Yeah, the
I don't
art
know why.
style's really, really good, like background art and
Yeah, it's like
stuff.
some for some reason it's very appealing. I don't know why, but for some reason it is.
It's a nice, it's
Um,
always been like a nice aesthetic from like even just the trailers and stuff, but the anime delivers
yeah.
pretty heavily.
So that's been good.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens in the
it's
future
difficult to
episodes.
like say, like right now it's kind of like one of those things where like, okay, we have like X amount of characters that will get together, and so we got to get the gang first, and then we can actually like start doing stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but it's been like everything I've wanted so far. For um, like visually, I think it's probably exceeded my expectations. Like I like the aesthetic before, but it's also like there's a lot of fun camera work involved. It's like a very experimentative, well, not experimentative, but it goes out of its way to like be more than static.
Yeah.
Some of the cinematography is not like in the first episode when two characters are talking, they're just like kind of walking through the streets. Instead of just
Mhm.
having them walk down the fucking street or whatever, you know, which would be kind of flat and boring. Like, not that it is that important, like how you frame that, but
Right.
they walked past an izakaya, which is like a Japanese restaurant bar type thing.
Yep.
The Japanese fucking B-dubs, I guess. I don't. But they walk past that, and it's like it's for like a quick few seconds. Like, you know, they just walk past the door, but it's like framed so the door is obviously open and dark because it's nighttime outside, and they walk past it, so you can clearly see the characters. But like inside the bar, you can see it's obviously very light, and there's a lot of it's very lively, everything that happened like in the background for
Yeah.
this anime, which is what I really like. It's everything is constantly moving. Like there's always stuff happening. Like later in the episode, they have people like at a skate park in the background having conversations, and it's just very active in displaying. I mean, it's like it's just the normal world, but I guess you could call it world building to an extent. It's like the nightlife. It's just showing off all of that.
Yeah. I
I
think
like that a lot.
camera angles is the big or not angles, but like the movement. I think that was the one thing I noticed was really, really good. Like really interesting. Um, like there's a scene on the bridge. I think it's a bridge, but like
Yeah,
when the
yeah, you're
yeah,
right. On the bridge.
yeah. Um, and just like the way that two characters were talking and like how the camera angle has changed depending on who was talking and what they were talking about. Like that was really good. Um, I'll see what the second. I haven't seen the second episode, so maybe it's. I'm
This
sure
no,
it's
the
good
second
there.
episode also does have some good camera stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I won't
So
say too much, but like, there's a little bit of piano playing, and then like, kind of based on like character mood and what they're feeling, like, kind of dictates how the camera moves around in that scene a little bit.
mhm.
It's still a strong, obviously great voice cast, great art. What remains to be seen. Like, it's an anime original, so like I can't, like, who knows how good it'll be. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it could be
yeah.
dog shit by the end, and that's just
It could
I'd
be.
be very
Could be.
sad. But I do trust the
Well,
author. This is his
yeah.
first time like doing a proper anime script, but because he's a he writes Tomozaki light novels, so
I'll
it's
keep it in
definitely
mind.
different. But
Yeah.
this is, I'd say it's probably my favorite so far. Maybe, fuck, it's difficult. It's like neck and neck between that and like we briefly mentioned the title again, but Train to the End of the World has been so fun. Like,
Oh, this is the one. Yeah, I saw. Yeah. Okay, let me
I
see.
really hope the production rumors like don't come to bite the show in the
Oh,
ass,
this is the one
because
that's getting delayed
Yeah.
or
not
something,
it's not
right?
delayed, but like they had a lot of
Oh, this.
work to do on
Yeah.
episode 4 when the
Yeah. I
show
think
started
I
airing, which
posted
like
that.
isn't hyper uncommon, but I don't want it to fall apart like a fucking uh Wonder Egg priority or something like that.
Yeah, I think. When I posted, it was like they haven't even like finished up. Yeah. Okay. On Twitter, they revealed that they haven't even finished the fourth episode yet. Well, that was 2 weeks ago, so I don't know.
There,
Hopefully,
I'm
yeah.
gonna assume because we haven't heard anything, it's not gonna get delayed, but we'll see. Hopefully, it ends up fine.
Yeah.
Um, because I mean we don't know what the rest of the production looks like, but it's been really fun so far. It's like it's one of those anime that just understands like, okay, we're just gonna set this world and it's not gonna make any fucking sense from the get go, and so you can just like let anything happen and just be okay with it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the voice cast, like I mean, a lot of strong voice casts this season, I feel like, but the chemistry between the voice cast in this one feels extremely strong. Just a lot of dynamic conversation. Well, I don't know. I'm saying dynamic is like a fucking filler adjective, but just like really strong conversation between all the characters that just keeps you engaged, even if it's not like it's just banter, right? And so
Mhm.
you just keep engaged throughout the episodes, and obviously just the fucking insanity of anything that's happening at any given time. It's just a really entertaining one, and I'm hoping that it stays strong until the end. It's not like super like groundbreaking or anything, but it's just like an extremely solid production so far.
I think I need a third because the other one I watched was Bartender. I know you mentioned that a few
Yeah,
episodes
I'm a
ago, and
couple of, or one episode behind on that, but
yeah, I'm one episode behind. I watched the first two. I mean, I'm I love cocktails. I love like the just bar like the
I'm not gonna make the joke.
I love
yeah,
cock. Yeah, okay. Well,
Yep.
anyway, I know
love a
I
bucket.
made me lose my train of thought. But no, I just like love like the different types of cocktails. I'm huge into that. Like whenever I go to restaurants, I'll order a cocktail just because like I just like trying different stuff. Um, so based on the first two episodes, I think I'm not sure where the story will go. But I like the
Is there a
characters.
story? I was just kind of expecting it to be like
I mean, there
Yeah,
technically
I don't
we
is,
even know,
talked
but
about we
right?
did talk about this and we were like it'd be kind of fun if he was just like a bartender and like other people brought their stories,
it's not
which isn't necessarily
entirely
what we
inaccurate.
expect.
Yeah,
But
that's what I
yeah,
mean.
It's
Yeah,
hard.
it's
So
like
what it is people. Well, at least so far, in the last episode, at least there were two people.
yeah,
One came in like basically they have like stories behind them, and he basically like one of the things like, oh, you're a bartender, you have to like know how like the perfect drink to serve them in that moment,
yep,
basically.
mhm,
Like how do you want to, they ask for something like what is the correct way for you to make that in that moment to like help them.
yeah,
So like one person came in and at a bar, and his uh friend used to own that bar, but they're gone now. And so anyone, he basically calls anyone who like makes a drink that isn't like as good as that guy, like no matter how, even if the drink is like fine, he'll call it dog shit basically. So
okay,
he had to spend like that half of the episode figuring out like, okay, what would this guy have been, what's the taste this guy was having then.
yeah,
And then like the second half of the episode, like a lawyer came in, he like determined her job based on the stuff she had and what she was talking about. And it's like, all right, what does she need in this moment? Based on like everything she was saying, it's that type of stuff where they tell the story and
hmm
then he like makes the drink. It's
yeah,
not like too far off. And there's probably like there's like technically a story in the background where like these two girls are like trying to get him to come work at their like hotel bar or whatever the fuck. But I don't know how long that'll be like the story.
yeah.
yeah,
I think the one about the old man because like he found. I mean, he knows that he's old, right? And then he serves him a drink that was like I don't know if you ever heard of the Old Pal. I actually hadn't even heard of it, but it's like um it's a very cooling drink because back in the day, like this is like all like educational, like little tidbits of like um knowledge about cocktails, but it's like it's a very cooling drink because back in the day they didn't have like proper refrigeration, so the cocktail itself had to be cool because like the quality of the ice they had and like just cooling in general didn't exist. So the alcohol, the drink itself had to be have like cooling properties, right? So like little tidbits like that. He serves the lawyer like a soup with vodka in it, which I didn't even know had a name for it. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. So yeah, it's just cool. It is like fun little um, tidbits. I can't think of a better word, but like snippets of information about cocktails and alcohol in general. So I always like that. If I can learn something new, I'm happy about it. So I'm excited.
And it's
Uh,
definitely like
really
a
likes
different
learning.
anime.
yeah, it's different. It doesn't have like at least for now, it doesn't have like a seem like it has an overarching plot besides the two girls and trying to get them to join their bar and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Something else. I
I
mean,
watched.
I'll go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I watched Many Sides of Voice Actor Radio, or
Yeah, Say You Radio.
just Say You Radio. Yeah,
I haven't
that's
watched
what
the
it was.
latest episode, but I did watch the first.
I watched the first episode.
Oh,
I
there's
mean, it's like about what I expected, probably,
Yeah,
but
I
it
don't know
is
if I have
kind
any
of
like
fun.
particularly strong opinion, but yeah, it's like
It is a little fun that it's characterizing um so early on the difference between like these voice actresses and their character and then also their person, right?
yeah.
And it's like one of those things that it's something to expect out of something like this, but it's still kind of fun just to see them kind of differentiating what like the person is life, what the person is like off camera and on camera, and how those vary.
Yeah, it'll be one of those things that I'll have a stronger opinion on as it develops,
Oh yeah,
obviously. Uh I don't know. Feels it's gonna be like Yuri bait probably, as far as I can tell,
it definitely feels like at best Yuri bait, at worst just no bait.
yeah. I mean it'll probably get more interesting as their like actual relationship develops. 'Cause right now we're kind of like in the I fucking hate you stage, and I'm sure it'll get better from there, but I don't have any particularly strong I don't have anything to say on it
I
so
would
far.
agree.
It's like a
It
perfectly
was just a
fine
nice
watch.
episode one. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, we'd mentioned a little bit a few episodes ago about Girls Band Cry.
dude. I was looking,
Are there subs yet?
dude. I don't know. I looked at
Okay,
my very
so
legal. Yeah, go ahead.
yes, I don't know how the seven C's are doing it right now, because like they'll post like the earliest version of the subs, obviously, because that's how those sites work. But I don't know if they switch them later with like, because there is a group that picked it up, but I don't
Yes.
know if the sites are changing to that version afterward. Um, like whenever the better subs release, or if you have to go like torrent those to get the good subs. Like the ones that get posted on the sites are like usable, but they're obviously like
Hmm.
not good. Like basically, you're
Well,
better
it's
off
like the main
torrenting for
reason
like good subs.
yeah, I'm gonna say this is the main reason I haven't watched it yet is
Yeah,
just
same actually.
because I haven't found reliable information on subs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
haven't done
yeah,
much
that's just
research
how
on
it
it.
is so far. I've watched the bad subs both time. Yeah, I got the Jover experience in the from the first
Not the
episode.
Jover experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's annoying, like, because someone, like, genuinely, what, like, and it's picked up again, so it doesn't matter. But we talked about, like, last episode, or not last episode, a couple
Yeah,
episodes
we
ago,
did.
the person who, like, stole the initial subs, and then, that whole thing.
Um,
But, I've generally, like, obviously it's a very different show, because of the animation style. That's, like, that's either the draw or the detractor, depending on who you're talking to. Um, right now, I think there are times where it's like incredibly good looking and times where it's very jarring, and I guess it's how 3D goes. Um,
yeah,
but I'd say it's definitely an interesting style. It's definitely not perfect. It's very Ruby-esque in terms of how it goes about certain things. Like maybe it'll have some over the top comedy moments, like using the 3D that I feel are a little jarring.
mm,
Um,
yeah,
but then like
yeah. 3D's always risky. I don't know.
it's like
Sometimes it looks good. Sometimes it
it's
looks
very
ugh.
expressive in how it does things. Like there
Yeah.
are very like great looking moments like through it. Uh, so yeah, I mean it's a give and take style right now. That I think fits this anime pretty well. Um, though like we do get like a look at like what it would be like in 2D in the opening specifically, and I wouldn't have minded having these characters like I like the 2D designs that they had, and so I wouldn't have minded seeing that, but I think it works it works better just staying full 3D instead of like jumping to 3D for
Switching.
like the
Yeah.
performances or stuff like that.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the
that,
main reason why stuff like Bandori started really cranking out the 3D animation as just like a regular style is because it always felt really jarring when they would switch. That's like my big issue with the first season, especially the first half of the first season of Zombieland Saga, is I felt like it would switch between the animation styles, and I just didn't think it was very like smooth either. And so like the first performance or two just really annoyed me because I was like, this just looks bad.
Yeah, I think the first season catches a lot of flack, but then like season 2, it looks fine.
I think near the end of the first season, if I remember right, people say that they've gotten better, but it was just like I went through first couple episodes, had like their first performance or two, and I was just like, yeah, I can't do it with these performance animations at all.
It's funny. I opened Twitter just for shits and giggles, and fucking, it's talking about the main character voice actress for Nina, the main character or the main character of Girls Band Cry. It's funny, just like getting slightly older, and then like seeing everyone's like, what, born in 2007. Like we got voice
Right.
Yo,
actresses
that's
that are
crazy.
like,
Nah,
fuck.
that's
It just feels. I feel old. I'm like getting to
I
that
feel
stage of my life.
2007 feels crazy. Like,
Yeah, like you shouldn't. You're like 5 years old if you were born in
yeah,
2007. By
no,
anything.
actually, though.
Like,
Actually, though. Okay,
uh,
apparently they're French subs, so I might be in the clear. I can read French at least, so
you're
that'd be
gonna
my
go.
first
You're
instinct.
gonna go for the French subs. That's
I
crazy.
mean, apparently there's like a version that's like English translated from French, which like what I don't
I
know.
feel like if you're going, like, you're gonna
Yeah,
be torrenting at that point anyway. I would assume to get the fucking
yeah,
French subs. You may as well just get the good English ones that are made now that you can get that way.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, but if you want to go the easy way of having to download anything, then you can get the shittier subs on certain sites. But
yeah.
it's just unfortunate no one picked this up because like it gets good engagement like on social media. Like it's like generally popular enough. I just don't understand why nobody picked, because even it was like fuck, I don't remember if it was someone at Toei Animation, maybe their president. They're like, yeah, we really want to like change people's thoughts on like 3D CG, and like we really want the overseas fans to like be interested in this one, and they just don't license it to anyone, and so like we have to pirate it. Like there's literally
We
no
just
other
have
way
no
to watch it.
choice. Yeah.
There's absolutely, I mean, it's not like fuck, dude. Like you can't even like bring me an argument for that. You didn't license it out, or any, or at least I don't know. This feels like something someone should have like saw some engagement forums like, hey, you know what? Let's like speed run getting a license for this, like High Dive or something. Like, let's just add the show to our thing. Because usually they have like some of the more niche popular stuff on High Dive, just like the one-off interesting things, but they did not have that here. So I don't know. Maybe it'll get picked up eventually. Uh, but for right now, it's not the case. Um, I guess harping on the expressiveness, I feel like this is like generally a clip that gets shut around the little GIF I just posted, but like it's pretty smooth, like right there, like it looks really good. Um, but that's not always the case. It depends on how it's framed, I guess.
Yeah.
Right there, it's done well.
I think also like
Yeah, it looks fine.
3D animation is still hard because it is really jarring, even when it's done really good for a lot of people because we're not used to it.
Yeah.
So it's like it can be done well technically and still look jarring to people watching.
Yeah, like I feel
I
like
do I do love that one.
the fucking middle finger thing is so funny, dude. Um, yeah,
That's to say that I'm sure it does have moments that are really rough, but I'm also like I'm sure there are moments that are rough specifically because people are not used to 3D animation.
yeah, a lot of people don't give it. It's like really prejudice. Like people don't give the 3D a chance. Like they see 3D and then like they immediately fucking like report like, oh, PS2 graphics, rah, and it's like, yeah, not really. Like there's a lot of CGI that looks fucking awful. I'm not gonna like say that there
Mm-hmm.
isn't. Oh fuck, there is some. I don't remember. Maybe I wasn't watching it. I just saw like a clip on Twitter. There's some anime that uses like absolute dog shit CGI for their background characters. I don't remember. I don't. Fuck. Was it on here? I'm just looking through my list now. It was the fuck, the gay girls, the Whisper You Along song, yeah, that one. All right, fuck,
Yes.
could not just fucking brain farted. Whisper Me a Love Song uses CGI for some of the background characters, and it's like really jarring. Like that's the type of CGI that's fucking awful dog shit. You should be like appalled by, but not the stuff like in Girls Band Cry. Like that's just people are have like a reflex towards CG that doesn't need to
They
be
do.
there. Like,
And we've talked about this a decent amount because, like, I am a fan of a lot of series that do CG, and I have been, so I'm a little bit ahead of the curve on that because I've been watching stuff like the Bandoris. I've been watching a few of the different CGI shows that have come out, like kinda in recent times.
yeah, I mean, it's getting better over time. Like, my Love Live arc is over now, but I could easily see the improvements over time. Like, from the
Mhm.
original, which looked pretty not great, to
To like
like
Niji
Niji.
and Superstar,
I think
which are
Niji definitely
phenomenal.
has like the smoothest
Yes.
3D that like it looks really good in the context of these performances.
There's some moments in Niji that I thought were just absolutely insanely nice visually.
Yeah, like they're very good. Like they've perfected their craft at this point. Like it's like Love Live and then Studio Orange. They do like the B Stars, the Trigun Stampede, that type of
Yeah.
shit. That I feel like have
Which
really
Trigun Stampede is another thing that I think has probably helped bridge this for a lot of people.
yeah. Like
Um,
I'm not like gonna always hop on CG. Like it's not my biggest thing, but like I can do something like a girls band cry every now and then. Like I think more people should be open to
trying
I
it.
don't think it should be every anime by any means. Like I don't want the industry to go that direction, but like I don't think like 3D should not be something that you should wow blah, throw up
Mm.
anytime you see it. Like I saw
And
people
we did talk
complain.
about, I remember in a previous podcast, we talked about how I thought that we were going to start seeing a lot more like 3D CG anime coming out eventually.
Probably
And
at some point.
just because we've seen technologically it's gotten to the point where I think it does look pretty good, especially if you get there's a couple different studios that do really well with it. And so it's one of those things to me that's like once again, like you say, I don't think it's going to be every anime, but like one every other season, one every season maybe. I think
Yeah,
will kind of start to become more normal.
I think obviously like just even like in general anime where it's 2D as well. Like 3D is obviously incorporated a lot. It's
Yep.
always gonna be like that. Like I saw on Twitter, and I understand like why they like people were like, "Well, look at this picture right here. It's fucking disgusting." I'm like, what the fuck are they on about? And I click on the thing, and people are mad because like like in most anime they make like certain objects in like like a 3D manner, like a school desk or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. Just because it's easier, saves time. Like it's not that it's a fucking school desk. Most people are not gonna pay attention to that. But they're like, oh my god, like what happened to the industry I love? I'm like, what the fuck is like? It's not that difficult to be like, it's a fucking desk, dude. It's not that important. I understand like it looks generally cleaner when everything is drawn. Like I understand that, but I don't know. In an
That
industry
also
where
just
people are
reminds
overworked to all hell, like you don't need 2D
yeah.
desk. You'll be okay.
That also just reminds me of one of the running jokes with like the Bandoris and the D4 DJs and everything that do these like really intricate CG performances is the non-important characters like audience members and stuff a lot of times will just be like 2D just like totally out of place, just easy to draw characters. And it's one of the my favorite jokes that Luigi and I have with some of these shows is just like, don't look at the audience because it ends up being so jarring sometimes. You're looking at this like really nice 3D animation, and then you just have the most basic 2D characters in the audience just to like fill the audience, but also not waste all that time and resources on making the characters. And it's especially with like some of the older stuff like that. So like Bandori season 2 and season 3, you get stuff like that a lot, and it's just always really funny. watching like 2D and 3D mix in a way where it's like to save time or effort.
It is funny because like most people think about the 3D as saving time. But, like if you're making an audience, like you can decide between either making a bunch of easier 2D characters or like copy pasting like 3 different models that you have for like background characters. And if you're at, like, you know, in a situation like D4DJ where you're gonna be at like, you know, a club or some shit, as opposed to like, okay, you know, we can put all these characters like in the same school uniform and not have to think about it, and like it will make sense in context. But you can't put everyone in the crowd in the same outfit because then it's just weird.
Yep.
You have to just choose which version of Jarian you want.
I think for 3D, like we talked about during the awards, like Trigun Stampede. I think like just watching some of the clips on YouTube, it looks really good. But I think some other shows, it's just like, which I guess is like true. I mean, like as you mentioned, like as time progresses, they get better at it. But like, man, I don't know. Some shows, I think I'm just really sensitive to like even in the gifs you sent, like there are parts that just still look like a little weird. Like they just don't. I don't know how to
Like
describe it.
I
Like, they
can
just
like
don't
the
look right to
second
me.
one is a little like more robotic.
Yeah,
But I mean, I don't. I feel like the
The second
first
one
one
just
is
it's not
reminds
bad.
fine.
It's not
me.
bad.
Second one reminds me of like VTubers and stuff like that, which
Yeah,
I guess
Yeah.
low
is
key.
like
Yeah, that's a
that is like a decent comparison for
yeah.
kind of like this type of stuff.
Yeah, Live 2D is actually like a pretty interesting, dude. It's like one of those things that can, Live 2D either looks fucking incredible depending on how you do it, or it looks absolute dog shit. Um,
Yeah.
One of the most interesting things I've watched, I did this actually like yesterday too, where I'll go on to a site that I won't name because of legal reasons, and I just hit the random button, and it'll, you know, and I just look, you know, I usually do it with other people, and I'll be looking for just really short, random things to watch. A lot of the times you end up watching really dumb things, like maybe literally just some like college student's fucking submission that is for some reason on any list, and I can watch and put it on my list. But so there's a little short called The Lamp Man, and this should
Did you make me watch this? You might have,
Lamp Man?
I don't think you watched it.
or not made
I've
me, but
mentioned it.
yeah,
I don't think you ever watched it though. But
I don't remember.
it's
Either way,
like the score is 55%, but people are insane. Like I don't, because it's one of those things. I understand it's difficult to like rate really short things. And there's only 131 people who've fucking completed it, but it's like really, really good. Like the trailer it shows on like the thing I think or sent is
Yeah.
like the actual video itself. Like that is the Lamp Man. It's just a quick little 4 minute live 2D short. It just looks really like, because of the way they stylized it, it looks fucking incredible. Like it's extremely smooth. The style is great. Like I really enjoyed I sift through a lot of dog shit when I do like the random button. I have watched a lot of things that I would not wish upon another human. Um, but it's
like that
stuff
one
like that.
dinosaur one. What was that?
I don't
The
I don't think I
what was
watched
the
the
name of
dinosaur.
that?
I've got some insane shit on here.
I know you do. I'm trying to think because there was a random like dinosaur one that I remember seeing. I don't remember
Dude,
what
this
it's
Lamp
called
Man, it
though.
reminds me of some game. I cannot think of like what game it reminds me of, but it
It'd be like
reminds
a
me of like
great style for a game. Like it looks really good.
yeah, like
Like
I don't know. It just looks so familiar. Like I haven't seen it, but like it looks I don't know, something about it looks very, very familiar. Like the movement of the characters. I don't know.
it does
Ah,
like
this was
look as
what it
if it was
was.
kind of
Hold
like a
on.
game.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on it, but it does look really good. Like I don't know, like
This is what I'm thinking of, Daniel. I don't think you
Ultra
watched this.
Dino. Yeah, I did not
I
watch
think
that one.
what on earth is
I think
this?
like everyone else has watched this.
Bro, these
Yeah,
characters are created on Spore.
You
What
don't
is this?
need to watch this. This might be one of the worst things I've ever seen.
yeah. I'm only gonna ever watch it if it pops up on the random. Like, uh, yeah. I watched. It was last night. One of the ones that I went through. It was a Tom and Jerry thing. The first episode I
Kind of
actually
right.
found kind of. It was like 2 episodes that are like a minute long or some shit. The first one was actually pretty funny. I didn't really care that much for the second one, but it's just interesting the things that like
Oh,
you
this is kind of
that
cute.
Yeah, it's interesting the things that exist that you're just never gonna like know about.
Know about, yeah.
Fucking course, Resh gave it a 10 out of 10. Fucking Resh moment.
Oh,
But
for the Tom and Jerry.
yeah,
Yeah.
apparently it's to celebrate Cheese Day in
Let's
Japan.
go.
They made
Yeah,
little Tom
it's
and
hype.
Jerry shorts. But yeah, it's
It
the
was
fucking
tough.
voices they got for it. Like
Anyway,
they literally voiced these characters and never again did anything else.
that's
Based.
kind of hype. Hey, like I was
Like
read this,
pulled
Crowning
like
random people
achievement.
multiple
off the
new
street.
episodes happen.
But yeah,
Random Button's fun, but it's like you said, I feel like it ends up just being almost like a
most of it's nightmare fuel.
experience because yeah, exactly. Because most of it's not things that I ever needed to see.
Yeah, it was less nightmare fuel than it usually is. Yesterday. Fuck, there's a really good one. I probably because I actually fucking rated it a 7. Like I actually gave it a good rating. That's why it wasn't in the bottom of my list. Where is it? Now I have to like find it in the sea of sevens. But it was like a quick like 7-minute short like anime adaptation of like a picture book. That like talks about the dangers of war. And it's basically like fuck the government is for kids. is all I can think to just where
That's a
here it
quote.
is.
Fuck the government for kids. I love that.
But it's like think is uh yeah, it's called What Happens Before War, and it's basically like 7 minutes of like the crazy parts of like a Maracos episode, right? Uh is like the best way I can think to describe it, like off rip, is just like think of all the goofy shit Shaft does in like their anime, and that's like the entirety of this. Just a lot
What
of
this
different
is.
shifting art styles. Uh, Actually, it had like I don't know who subs some of this shit. Like the fact that this random 7-minute little thing is even subbed online by anyone is so
It's
like
practice. It's practice for bigger projects.
I guess.
I don't know. I can't think of another reason.
But yeah,
Hmm.
it's a pretty interesting little short film with very creative artistic style.
Damn, you guys did watch a bunch
This
of
does look
random
cool.
shit. I'm like going through it now, just seeing it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, Dreams might be like the most cursed shit I've seen. Maybe not. Fuck the World might be the most cursed shit I've seen, but Dreams is like a close
Abstract
second.
animation.
I just think it's funny seeing like you, Ajag, Resh, all have these things marked off, and like you all probably watched them together, but the headcanon in my head of like you and Ajag doing the random and then Resh just watching things afterwards is much funnier.
Yeah, Family was there too until Dreams, and then like Dreams was a bit much for. He had a headache at the moment, and then he also did not. Dreams was insane. Like frame
The
one,
fact that Dreams is abstract animation is the
ab-
first description of it. I'm
abstract
like,
is
okay, I can imagine.
not even good enough to
Um,
describe what's happening. Like the fight, like almost frame one,
I
just like
love how the tags are no dialogue, nudity, and demons. Okay,
yeah, it's like
understood.
a bunch of like weird demon things drawn weird, and they all have like really floppy dicks going around. I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
it's so stupid. But yeah, I think the most like unwatchable thing we had was Brutes, which is like a 6-minute pilot episode for a different show called Mighty Orbots. You could feel the 19. It was a like you could feel the 1984 out of this one. Imagine like the earliest form of TV, and you had to watch this shit on it.
You had to watch it.
But then like you had like someone camcorded it and then put it on a computer, and then like it's been downloaded 10,000 times, and then it got put onto a site to be watched. Like it was very difficult to hear and watch. It was dubbed too. That was something. I'd rather have been subbed, I think. But yeah, it was something for sure. Anyway, back to seasonals.
Back to seasonals. Since this will be worth talking about anyway, I've not watched it yet, but I've heard a ton of chatter about Windbreaker. Kind of
Windbreaker.
surprisingly, I've heard a lot about it, given that it didn't feel like the type of show that was going to be talked about per
It,
se. But I
so
have like
Yeah, we talked
heard
about
a
it a couple
lot.
weeks ago, and I showed you all like the choreography or whatever that was going on. I
Yeah,
don't think I
yeah,
watched it,
that looks
but
cool.
like that first episode, I feel like is going to carry the show into relevancy for this season, and it's really going to have to like find an identity soon, though. I think, because it's
That's
gonna be, I
valid.
think it's gonna be split core, I believe. But I feel like this, it feels like Tokyo Revengers, but with less of a plot is like the way to describe it. Like it looks infinitely better, but it's infinitely less
But
interesting as
there's
well.
less going on. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really.
And to be fair, Tokyo Revengers is very popular right now. So
Well,
it's
yeah.
like,
I mean, it was.
well, relatively, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, the fact that it's kind of died down maybe is better for this because people are like, oh, maybe it's like Tokyo Revengers but good, and then they try this. But either way,
It's Tokyo
it's
Revengers, but looks good and doesn't have like a plot to it really right now. Yeah, it's been fun. Like I enjoyed the first episode a lot, but that's because it had really like awesome fight choreography and it was cool as shit. But like second episode, I was kind of like, this new character they introduced is kind of, like imagine that like Takemichi was a side character, and that's like the kind of fucking person they
oh
introduce
no,
in the second episode. And I really just don't like him. He's so annoying. Um, man, anime's got to step away from like fucking annoying as shit side characters who just like exist to be like the bitch who every now and then gets a W for like character moments. Um, I don't know, just he's like constantly complaining, scared. You know, it's like a fine character. It's just not really. They're difficult to have there for the entire
yeah.
episode. Like I can take that character in doses. I don't think I'm gonna be able to take them like if they're there
It's
for the whole
also
time.
interesting with like these genres when that they like to have characters like that. I'm always like, I feel like that's when it's the most jarring, which is maybe the point too.
Yeah, like the
He's
whole
just like,
point of like like the side bitch character in this one is like he got bullied a bunch as like a middle schooler, and so he comes to this school that is like known for having a bunch of like strong delinquents or whatever, and he wants to be cool like them
yeah,
basically. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. For right now, he's
so
just
that'll
he's
work.
literally just Takemichi, dude. Like I have no other way to describe it. Takemichi if he wasn't the main character. Thank fuck he's not the main character. We wouldn't have had that first episode if he was the main character. So yeah, I wouldn't have gotten dragged into watching at least the core of this. But I mean, it's been fine so far. I feel like it's one of those things where it's either got to keep it up to keep me interested, or I don't know.
Yeah, because it's only 2 episodes, so it's also like
It's difficult to say, but like if
easy
it
to
doesn't
be
evolve
like
from here,
episode 1 was hype and episode 2 felt like a snooze, but it's like nothing to really judge off
yeah,
of
we're at a
yet.
very foundational stage right now, and so we'll see by episode 13 if I care about it particularly.
Is that how long we gotta wait? The whole first core?
I mean, by the end of the first core, I can tell if I care about it or not.
That is true.
But yeah. Speaking of things that have certain things that look good, but other things that don't. The Blue Archive anime is.
Oh,
I mean, I don't have my look. I don't have that much to say on it, but the opening and ending are so good visually, but the actual anime itself is like
see this.
so okay.
Is it doing like the game story or just kind of
I've
like
only
vibing with
played
the
like a
characters?
little bit of the game story, but it looks like it's doing that. Like
That's
I
kind of fun at least.
Yeah,
I
but that
prefer
also
that.
hurts it at the start a little bit because like the first episode is like, I mean, basically the first two episodes are almost like tutorial levels, almost, you know.
That's fair.
So I'll have to see how interesting it gets like by the end. Like fuck, I guess I could actually like play the story. I'm like too lazy to do that, but yeah,
Well,
the
Right.
I say I like that, but then like I feel like what made the pre-con anime fun the first
it
season
like
was you could
kind
like
of kept the
fuck around with
story, but they also
characters.
fucked around a lot.
Yeah. And like set up everything, and then season 2 they were like, we're
Story
gonna do the
time.
alternate version of the story that doesn't, a version that doesn't exist in written form, but like
It's
exists
close.
to read the story, right?
Yeah.
So that was fun, but also I feel like a lot of these games have fairly good stories already, so it's like I feel like me as a fan of gacha games would be like, if the game has a good story, I would like to see that animated over. Because I think of it from like Fate perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Fate gacha has dozens of really strong stories that I'm like, I would love to see these animated. And so like when they when they make like Fate Grand Order projects that have nothing to do with the stories, I'm like, well, that's still hype because I like the IP, but also I still really want to see this story and this other story um, adapted into some form of anime one day.
Yeah, I feel like one of the difficult parts with this one specifically is other gotchas. People are like generally honest about like how good is the story, but this one there's two factions. There are the people who adore this game and will defend it to their dying breath, and then there's everyone else because this gotcha does not have a good reputation for community
Yes,
among other people, and so they're just gonna
absolutely
shit on it no
correct.
matter what. And so I have like no way to actually tell if it's gonna be good or not, but just sitting and watching it. But so far, even just ignoring like the story part, the production quality is like
Questionable.
the opening has a lot of very quick cuts, but they're high quality like all the way through,
Dude,
and it's very
the
fun to
opening is
watch.
beautiful. Like,
Yeah,
I
the
don't know
opening's
why.
really fucking good. The
Like,
ending is what
weird.
it's probably my favorite ending. Like not song wise, like the song is fine,
Hmm.
but like animation wise, the ending is so fucking good. Like it's like the quality of the opening and ending versus the quality of the actual anime is like really off putting. Because the end opening once again high quality, quick cuts, really beautiful to look at, and the ending also like it's more of like more slow paced than the opening. But
I
there
always
is
find it so funny when shows have that exact difference that you're talking about, where it's like the most beautiful opening or ending sequence, like really well done, and then you watch the actual show, and it's like okay at best.
yeah, like here's the ending. More than the opening, I feel like that's like the opening obviously is very impressive all the way through. But like it's such a like create like visually creative ending. With like how the characters move. It's like very expressive character movement all the way through. And then the cut at the end, holy shit, dude! It's probably like the best like rotation of like a character like around a character with the camera that I've ever seen. Like off the top of my head,
Let me
like
see this.
it's incredibly well done
I
Yeah,
hate the
for
that is
both.
that's
dumb little
clean. That's clean.
I hate the dumb little head halo
Dude,
things.
I was like
You
watching
don't need
the
to hate
opening.
the ending. Doesn't mean
The
anything.
opening is like, I know no memes that I was like, it's like so beautiful. Like I couldn't even like. I'm not
You're
I do
lost
like
exaggerating.
for
It's like,
words. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not exaggerating. It looks so like it's unreal. Like I don't understand it. Like this is crazy. Like I'm not
I
even
do
joking.
like
I'm not
these
even exaggerating.
visuals.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm not listening to the song because if I try and listen to the song, it'll probably pick up on my mic and then
Yeah,
echo to
I mean that's fine.
yeah.
Like the visuals are more important than like the
The
music.
visual, yeah. Oh my god, dude.
I'll drop the opening for you as well. But like I would love to. I guess I could like mute YouTube and then open them and watch them myself. But it's like so interesting, like how none of that creative like direction goes into the
he's
show
in the
itself.
anime.
It's just they
Yeah.
fucking poured all their heart
Budget cut.
into the opening and ending, and like I could watch these on repeat. Like they are
Oh, I
so
do
good.
I do love that little camera movement at the very end.
Yeah, at the end of the
I know
ending,
you
dude, it's
talked about it,
so
but I
good, dude.
just watched it.
Like
Yeah.
it's such a clean rotation. Like holy shit. Like that cut alone is more impressive than anything in like the 40 minutes of anime that I've watched from it so far. It's like
That's the dream cut for the fucking girl who lost her glasses. What they were
yeah,
trying to
that's what
do.
this is like what Gohan's aspires to be. But they just can't do it. Like it looks so clean, and then yeah, the opening is so very quick, but like every single
Gotcha
little
opening.
shot in
There's
this is
also like,
really good.
yeah, gotcha openings are also fun because they have to show off all of the characters.
Yeah, that's like why this one's like super high. Like it has like the same type of vibe as the ending in a sense, where it's like kind of showing them like just dicking around for a little bit until like it starts going into like the action and showing all the characters. But um, it's interesting like two very different directions of showing the same thing almost. Uh, man, I wish this is what the anime looked like. Holy shit, dude! I'd be in here gassing up Blue Archive of all things.
Yeah,
That would
you'd
not make you
be.
happy, but no, it would it would be
No,
so.
I mean, if
I
the
mean,
show looked as good as that, dude, that'd be crazy. It'd be crazy.
the funny thing is, neither of us really have specific Blue Archive beef. It's just fun to pile on the memes.
Yeah, I only know it from the memes. That's it.
Yeah, I mean the community gets shit
Might be
on, and
amazing.
like,
Who knows?
I mean most of the time, rightfully so. I
Yeah,
maybe like, I feel like maybe the game gets a little bit too much of a bad rep, but like
I'm sure it
there are
does.
definitely
I
members
mean,
of the community that are like,
it's like one of those things where it's like a game that is this successful probably has some reasoning behind that other than
yeah, it's like
just
a generally like what I've played of it. It's like a generally fun gameplay loop. Like I actually do
yeah,
have to use my brain at times, because you level up like reasonably fast, but not like so fast that you're like super over leveled for everything. Um,
yeah,
and so you might have to change up your lineups. Like okay, I need this set of characters so I can use these abilities at this moment in time. The only thing I hate about the gameplay loop is like you have like characters that rotate in and out of like there's like three characters at once. You go in, fuck, it's four characters on like the attack, and you have like two supports, I think. And you can only use three abilities or you can have three abilities available at any given time. But like your starting abilities, I think they're random. I don't know if there is a way. There might be a way to set it. I just don't remember. Or I haven't seen it, but if they weren't random, it'd be less annoying. But there's times I'm like, well, I need this ability first. Let me reset this fucking level every single time until I get that ability in my slot. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's a fine game. It's just a community with very specific
the community has like trashed
desires.
whatever it had. Yeah,
Yeah, I will be interested to see how like maybe they're saving all the production for when the story gets interested versus like the tutorial phase right now. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out the end of the opening because they look fucking incredible.
Bro, thank you for introducing me to this. Like, I'm no memes at opening. Like, it's just beautiful. It's like the scene where they're like sitting at the desk in the classroom, like 40, 38, 40 seconds in.
Is that the one where
Bro,
it's
that looks
rotating?
beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, that
Yeah,
it's amazing.
very good pieces of minute and a half cinema.
Yeah, never thought I would. Yeah, I did not expect to appreciate a Blue Archive
Not on your
opening.
2024 bingo card, hyping up
No,
anything
no,
from Blue
not even
Archive.
close. Not
But
even close.
it does look really, really good. Speaking of things that have improved visually, Mushoku Tensei Season 2 seems a little bit more. It's not the same as Season 1 quality wise, but it's definitely closer than Part 1 was. Now that Onimai has like passed, the demon is gone from the lives of Mushoku fans for now at least. A lot of I think a number of people have returned from the Onimai staff to Mushoku. Uh, that opening also looks pretty good, but it's also looks very spoilery as a motherfucker. I think I predicted the entire core probably based on that opening, if I had to
Oh,
guess.
that's the worst.
it's so hard because I love watching openings, and so I do the same thing to myself. I just watch it
Yeah.
for stuff because I'm like I would rather watch it and then just know the whole season.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna
there
spoil
are
on this shit
some,
anyway.
yeah, there are some that I'm like, damn, I just watched like the entire plot.
Yeah, like I watched the Mushoku season 2 part 2 opening and I'm like, okay, that character's probably gonna die, and that's gonna happen, this is gonna happen. I'm like, I have a whole predict. I literally told Resh, I'm like, here's my prediction. Don't tell me. I'm gonna come back to this in 3 months, and we're gonna see what happens. But I think I probably have like the basic idea down, of everything that's gonna happen, like all the major points. But yeah. It definitely looks better now. I'll be interested to see how this season goes. Um, it looks like it'll get pretty exciting later due to the opening spoiling me on later events, but um, it's back and I do enjoy the show, even if it can be weird. So the classic. Other isekai that have returned, Konosuba's back. I actually did. I not like a hyper Konosuba guy, but I did really enjoy the first episode. It was pretty fucking funny, as far as Konosuba
Good.
goes. Um,
I just I don't know. We've talked about it a lot. I never
Yeah.
quite got into Konosuba, so I don't know that I will partake in the new season.
I'll let you know if it's worth it later. I guess.
I think that's kind of where I'm sitting, where it's like, if you come to me later and you're like, yeah, story wise, this shit's peak, then maybe I will.
Which definitely gonna be peak story wise.
I
Like,
know, but here's the thing: if you're just gonna be like, yeah, it's the same sense of humor that the first two seasons had, then it's like I'm probably not gonna go watch it. So it needs to have something to bring me back, other than just like, yep, it's more Konosuba.
yeah,
I didn't hate the first two seasons, but just not enough to really make me come back to it because I didn't really like. How do I put it? I feel like most shows that I really enjoy, I should at least have like one character. I'm like, yeah, that's my, my goat, my favorite, right?
mm-hmm.
There's like no character from Konosuba that I really was like, yeah, I really like that character.
Yeah, I get that. I'll let you
What
know if it. I think it might strike your fancy later. We had 10 episodes. I haven't watched episode 2. Well, we'll see. Uh,
Our another show that I think we haven't mentioned, but well, I know we mentioned it like a few episodes ago, but like Spice and Wolf. I don't know if you've started that. That's another show I
I
want to
watched a
watch now that I have
couple
more
of the
time.
episodes.
Yeah, there's I think it's like three episodes are out now. I
Yeah.
do want to start that because like I don't know, just hearing from other people it seems okay so far. So I don't know, and I
Hmm.
never finished the original, so I
Yeah.
feel kind of obligated to start this one. See some of the I think we mentioned it, but like some of the art, like it looks kind of modern, right? Because I mean, it is a
Yeah. I
show
mean,
in
it is modern.
2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. But compared to the old, so I feel like I have a couple friends who are watching it, and they're like, yeah, like compared to the old art style, like of course it's like you can say worse in quality or whatever, but like I don't know, there's a certain charm to it, I guess. But I don't know if it's just nostalgia or whatever,
I
you know.
mean, I think there
Yeah.
are pros and cons to both of them. I think one of
Yeah.
the issues with a lot of these like modern looking anime is like the coloration of a lot of things. Like, it
Yeah.
feels like the contrast turned like really high up on a lot of shit. And maybe one could argue that like the older anime didn't look like perfect either. I almost feel like a combination of the two. I think the background art in both is fine. I would say I probably prefer the old one. Like, from what I've barely seen any of the old one. Like I've seen like the openings. I think from what I've seen of those, I prefer the background art in that. I think as a whole, the characters are probably more expressive with their like Hollow, for example, is a wolf and she has like her ears and her tail, and I feel like she's more expressive with those. Probably is what I've been seeing
Mhm.
people say, and like the new one. It's like
Yeah.
there's definitely things to like and things to be like. I wish
Yeah.
this like the old one, but
I'm gonna try it. See how I like it. I
I've
mean,
generally
it
enjoyed it
is a
so far. I don't have
classic.
like too strong an opinion on it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure like as it gets further, I'll be more into it.
Mhm.
It's got 25
I'm
episodes to
undecided.
grip me.
Claris does do one of the songs for it, so
Yeah, they do the
Ooh,
ending.
based.
might be enough to get me to try it.
That's it.
Currently, currently I am struggling to do anything, so it's definitely farther on the back burner of
Yeah,
like maybe after I catch up to all the things that I want to do in life, then perhaps I'll try
like on your
That makes sense.
deathbed, you have nothing left. All right, time to start Spice and Wolf.
it. Yep,
Let's go.
exactly.
Yeah, another thing, Studio Engi has struck again. It would seem.
Uh-oh.
Uh,
Struck.
so I actually enjoyed the first episode of Unnamed Memory, and so did a lot of other people, I think. But then episode 2 happened, and I think generally, like the consensus is it looks fine, but they skipped the ever living fuck out of a lot of material, and people are not very happy about that.
Hmm.
So in classic Engi fashion, they have like fucked the source material, which they did with
Oh, I
um,
remember this one. We talked
multiple
about
other
this
anime.
during shopping, and I was like, I will wait on this one.
Yeah. So apparently, like this is like a fantasy romance type thing, but they skipped a lot of character interactions because they want to get to like the spectacle of things. Apparently, is from
Mm-hmm.
what I can tell. Even though like apparently everyone's like, well, the first episode was like really well paced. They're like, there's no way they can keep this up, right? And then they immediately, then
They immediately
immediately
did not keep it
they
up.
immediately did not keep it up. And this is supposed to be split core too, so it's so weird. I think they're probably trying to finish the entire series. I don't think it's a very long light novel series from what I remember. Because I've thought about purchasing this one like multiple times. I just never did for whatever reason. Like I have other things to fucking read at this point. Like you know. But yeah, I mean they're apparently fucking this one up, even though it looked like generally looks fine. Um, all I would say is, if you all thought I was annoying as shit talking about Angel Next Door's adaptation, if they fuck up Medalist, dude, I'm gonna be so annoyed. 3 months, dude. 3 months straight of I'm gonna be the most annoying person on the planet. I'm gonna be so mad. If they rush Medalist, oh my god. If they make it look, oh my god. Okay, I don't need to think about that. I don't need to think about that. That's Medalist anime adaptation. That's a problem for January 2025, Daniel. Not right now.
What episode would be on then? Like 140 or something like that. I don't know.
Somewhere
January
around there.
2025.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a ways away.
it's a ways away.
But
But yeah.
if it happens, we'll every week this'll just become the Trashing Studio Engie podcast for 3 months.
Dude, I'm like perfectly. I've thought about it, like making a video on how dog shit all their adaptations are, but like Medalist, that's like the nail in the coffin. If they fuck that up, I'm making the hit video. I'm gonna write some. I'm gonna write my hit. I've not written something like hyper negative in a very long time. Actually, ever. The last negative thing I did, I think, was the Tacked Off Destiny anime. I did like a little rant at the end of that where I'm like, yeah, the show's like ass. That's privated now, I think. I haven't done anything like it since. Uh, but I mean, I'm a professional hater at this point. I need to make more pieces where I just shit on things, honestly. I'm sure, like, I tell myself it wouldn't be as fun to write like that, but I think I would probably enjoy it
I
more
think it
than
could
I
be
think.
fun if you were like really into like you couldn't shit on everything, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I don't want to,
But if it's something like Engie taking your medalist child out back and shooting them in the head,
yeah.
I think you could get real into that. It would be funny.
Yeah, I could probably make like a very heartfelt, pissed off script would be like the end result of that. Um, yeah, I'm definitely afraid of what they're gonna do to my poor baby. I'm gonna be so mad if they fuck it. There are gonna be like moments where I'm like, yay, they adapted this thing, and I love seeing this thing in motion. But then,
And then there'll be other moments where you're like, "What the hell is
yeah,
going
then the
on?"
other moments I'm looking, I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself. Like this is gonna be, it's gonna be so unfortunate. I can tell they're gonna fuck it up, dude. They have no chance. I just like literally 1 week. All it took was 1 week for them to fuck up unnamed memory. Like, they had one good episode, and then they sullied it immediately. Apparently, and just
And I bet they'll. I bet if they do mess it up, it'll be the same. You're gonna watch episode 1, and you'll be like, "Hey, that was pretty good." Then somehow,
yeah,
because I feel like other stuff of theirs that we've seen also had like pretty strong episode 1s.
yeah. Like Detective is Already Dead had a fairly strong episode one. Even though it fucked with the source material a little bit, like still looked good, and then just fell apart like pretty quickly afterward. Um, to the point where like, oh my god, I think it was like episode four, like had the most abhorrent looking crowd I've ever seen in anime. Like I would rather have like the fucking D4DJ 2D crowd in that situation. Um, and then like they had like car.png in one of that later episodes, like they just fucking stuck a car PNG like on the street, and it's like, oh my god,
That's hype. I love that.
it's so stupid. Uh, but yeah, it's a lot. think the one, how other seasonals. The one I want to touch on before we end here, though, would probably be Kaiju 8, which,
I
I,
still need to watch episode 1, but yeah, it's one of the things that I have been the most excited to experience for a long time.
episode
And I
1 is
know if
really good.
okay, I didn't know if my first experience for a while was going to be waiting until an anime came out or just picking up the manga at some point. But now we've reached the point where it's like I'm going to watch episode 1, and that's going to be my first experience with the series. But I've just heard over the years so much about this series
Yeah.
that it's just like over time hyped me up for it.
Yeah, episode 1 was really good. Production quality, fantastic. Soundtrack slaps like a motherfucker. I don't like the opening song and the ending song. Maybe they'll fit better to like the visuals, and they'll be like one of those things I can enjoy that way. But you can tell that like the fucking Young Blood and One Republic, they got fucking like generic anime. But you can feel the Imagine Dragons in the opening. Is all I'm gonna say. You can feel that they had a hand in that shit, but it's just, oh my god, dude. You can tell they phoned it in, dude. They like super phoned it in for these songs. Like, all right, we got a contractual obligation to finish a song for these guys. The opening full song. So openings are a minute and a half. The full song is 2 minutes, and the only like added part is like they say the same line like 20 times over, like in classic American band
Oh
fashion.
boy.
And that's a lot of the ending does a lot of that too, where it's just like generally the same music, like it sounds like fine enough, but then they just like repeat the same lyric over and over again to like fill time, that type of thing. Not my cup of tea. We'll see if because like I didn't like Vinland Saga season two's first opening song wise that much, but like the visuals paired really well with it, so maybe it'll be one of those things. But yeah, there are other seasonals. We'll get to them next time, but we started recording pretty late in the day, so we'll get to those another time. I also really don't give that much of a fuck about some of the other seasons we haven't talked about, so.
There's like the problem is, like I said, I haven't watched a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it's like, what can I say about like Oblivion Battery that I want to watch, the little baseball anime,
Yeah, map of baseball.
or like there just isn't anything for me to say other than I've heard the opening song to it and it's pretty good. But until I watch it, I really can't give any real input on it currently.
Yeah. There's like a little bit I can say about like A Condition Called Love, but not enough to like, it's a shoujo for sure. It's like all I can say about it right now. Besides like getting into a deeper conversation that we don't have time for right
That
now.
we don't have time nor like the people
Desire.
to converse with. It would stuff like that's always more fun to me if like me and Spatchel had watched it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the things with it is like there's like talk about like the toxicity of like the romance itself, and like
Mhm.
I said I think a couple weeks ago that like this guy is what Spat thought Itsuomi from Sign of Affection was.
Dude.
Well, that'll be a conversation for another time. But then like
Yeah.
the other two things I would have had to say, like, I mean, Dungeon Meshi would technically still going, but Data Live 5 and Slime 3, like, what can I say besides it's more slime
It's
and more
more
Data
of
Live,
them.
you know?
Yeah.
There is more of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's UFO too,
No, I'm
which I need to
excited.
watch the movies for, but well, I'll get to that at some point, maybe.
Yeah, I'm excited now that I have more free time. I'll be able to pick up a couple more seasonals and finish up. Because I finished up Soul Leveling the last few episodes that I had. Show was okay.
Yeah.
And then Sign of
Episode
Affection
11's fight was insane, though.
also.
That's like, I will give that to
Oh,
Soul
yeah, that.
Leveling.
Oh, dude, yeah. No, I get the appeal. I totally get the appeal of
Yeah,
that
the
show.
fights go hard. The rest of it
Yeah.
goes sleep.
Yeah. Also, I'm like pretty sensitive to gore, and like it's not super bad in a lot of episodes, but like I don't
Oh,
know,
you
sometimes
don't want
my
to watch Kaiju 8.
hands get sweaty. Yeah. I mean, it was fine. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I can't say I was bored. So
Yeah, but speaking of sleep, that's what we're gonna do after this episode ends right now. Well, I might watch a few anime, but they're gonna go to sleep. Anyway.
yeah,
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars, whatever the fuck platform you're on. If you're on the audio only side of things, you can like go to the YouTube. Is the Order an anime podcast? You can't possibly miss it. Same thing from YouTube to audio only. Is the Order an anime podcast? Can't possibly miss it. We're the only one. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST, without fail, except for when we do, there will be a new episode up for you to enjoy. So thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in another episode. Goodbye.